Welcome back to Moonshine Performance. We're getting, like I said, we're gonna get this intake on here. He is laying some beads down. We don't use those strips that go on the China rail there. We'll just use gasket maker RTV. And I've got all the paint stripped off of the intake here. I don't know who would possibly paint the inside, the gasket surface of an intake, but that's all clean, ready to go, acetoned. And this other surface is acetone, and we're gonna set this thing on after we've gotten all the RTV spread around. All right, we're gonna go ahead and set this thing on here. We've got RTV on both sides of the water jackets. Make sure this thing is centered. Should be pretty good there. Okay. And here are the bolts that we're using. Yeah, we got some, if you look close down in there, those bolts are going to be kind of difficult to get. We got to get them right in there. So that's what we're going to be working on now. We set the primer in here and the distributor hole, and we have about 70 pounds of oil pressure. Forgot to record that, but you'll just have to take our word for it, and you'll see it once it's started. But as you can tell, all these have oil to them, and everything's going great so far. So we're gonna go ahead and set the real distributor in there, set timing, and see what we're gonna do about the fuel, and we'll get this thing fired up. We got this big pig pushed over by the garage door here so we can go ahead and fire it. I'm working on getting some fuel line run. I gotta get that last one right there. Got these two tight and that one tight, and we're taking off of this fuel line right here and bringing it up into this Y. We also teed off for the vacuum right here. That way we can get a good reading off of both of them. He's working. What are you working on right now?
Making a little adapter for a coil.
Okay. Other than that, we've got racing fuel dumped into the fuel tank, so 110 octane. We're gonna set this timing light up on it and see what she's got. And coil is.
Water.
Yeah, we gotta. One of us has to. We're gonna flip a coin for it. Has got to dump all that coolant into one little tiny hole from a 5-gallon bucket. So that's what we're working on right now. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this fuel line up and see what's going on after that.
Yeah, guess who lost the coin flip? That bucket getting heavy?
Yeah, it's kind of sucks, but this funnel's making it go a little bit faster.
I was gonna grab a pump if I lost.
Yeah, I don't know where the pump is. This thing right here, we had some trouble with this other flywheel he had on here, so we used the one that we know works. And now the starter's not catching or anything like that. It's never been fired, so this is going to be the first fire I'm going to come around over here. You're going to see some smoke coming from the headers because there's oil on them, and that'll eventually burn away. Once this thing does start, we're going to hold it at 2,000 RPM in order to let everything seat and break in. And then as soon as it gets up to operating temp, we're going to shut her down. Okay.
Ready?
Yep. All right, these are electric chokes. Okay, you ready?
Fireball up. Smoke off a little bit.
Wow. Yeah. Haha. That thing sounds dirty. Cool.
Better smoke off a little bit and then.
We'll get her up again and get her up to operating temperature.
See them blue flames shooting out there?
Oh, I know. It's just.
I think it sounds good.
Yes, it does. Especially when it was just going. Cool.
Still filming?
Yeah. Make sure
Better
nothing's.
smoke.
Yep.
Good oil pressure.
Yeah, oh my God. Oil pressure is at 80. We've got this motor up to operating temperature about 4 times now, and the more you do it, the better. This is the most crucial point of a motor's life right here, and it will really increase the longevity of the life. And if you don't break it in right, it won't last very long. So we're gonna go ahead and set the camera up again. We'll get it up to operating temp. we've got the RPM set at 2,000 on the idle, and we run it until it gets up to about 180 there. And we'll go ahead, we got good oil pressure too. We got about 85 PSI. And we're gonna go ahead and run this thing again and let it get up there and shut her down. We got the temperature back down, and I'm gonna set the camera up over here. I'm gonna go ahead and run her again. So, like I said, we're gonna get it up to operating temp and then kill it. Go ahead. Yeah, everything goes. Getting some more oil off the headers. Yeah, that's been more. Probably did. It's off now, but it's also hitting down here. Go. All right.
Drop that down now.
Yeah. When you first build a motor and you're using new lifters and they're hydraulic, it's very, very rare that you'll get it on the first try as far as rocker adjustment. Because that lifter has to fill with oil after the motor, you know, they've got to prime the motor. That's why when you run the motor a few times, you take a valve cover off and some of them will be loose, maybe some of them even be tight. So that's why we got to run through the rockers again. And I like to go through the firing order on these and do 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2 is the firing order for big block and small block. And I'll do exhaust when intake is all the way open and starts to close, and then do intake when exhaust starts to open. So I'm on cylinder number 4 right now, working on these two, and I'm going to work my way around, and then we'll fire this beast up one more time and get it finally tuned in. And Stu's coming today to take it off of our hands, unfortunately. So we get to see this big thing get torn down and unfortunately get into a truck that's not ours. Also forgot to mention when I'm doing this, I just got this exhaust rocker done. But you'll tighten it down until it's kind of hard to get back here on a big block, especially with this big old intake. I'm going until I can hardly spin, and then after that I'll go about quarter turn, and then go ahead and jam that lock nut down in there, tighten that down, and that one's done. So like I said, I'm going to finish all these, and then we'll fire it up once more. We've knocked the idle down on this thing. We're going to go ahead and fire it up and listen to her roar.
nice throttle response.
Yeah, it does. It was idling a little bit over 1,000, and he cracked them open a little bit to hear a roar. I'm sure Stu's going to crack them open a little bit harder. And I think that's pretty good. Stu's on his way right now. We're going to load this thing up, unfortunately. But it's been a fun build.
All right, we're going to start this bad boy one more time over here. See how this works out?
Sweet. Man, that thing sounds good. All right, Stu, can we get some final words from you? What do you think about them valve covers?
Tell you what, these valve covers are nothing real fancy. Beautiful chrome, but instead of these, it cost you about $2,000.
Yep.
Right now.
We had these on Marketplace, these valve covers, and Stu came and picked them up, and we roped them in.
He wrote me in. He told me instead of $20 valve covers, and ended up costing about $2,500, $3,000.
Yeah. All right.
Tell you what, I love these valve covers.
Oh yeah, they're pretty nice.
They're damn nice.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.